Away!
The Accursed Tower started out as a D&D module released back in 1999. R.A. Salvatore dug into the Icewind Dale mythos and put together a 32-page adventure as a low-level standalone Forgotten Realms campaign. This also included iconic characters like Dualdon making an appearance along with other notable Icewind Dale heroes. The module I'm reviewing for Neverwinter Nights is based strongly upon Icewind Dale in this particular pen and paper conversion with some slight modifications. The PC begins in Luskan, where our infallible hero decides to become a caravan guard. Along the way, we can pick up some companions to tag along, and it's highly recommended. The adventure begins at level 1. It's also a fairly lengthy module, sitting in at around 15 to 20 hours, give or take, to complete. One of the neat features of this module is the chance to use historic party members, although I'm not sure if all their backstory or quest lines are completed. I went ahead and used the standard given ones that were scripted for the module itself, and it seemed the best way to review this. Now, before we go too far down that rabbit hole, remember to like and subscribe for more future content like this. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. Luskan is a port city on the Sword Coast North, a fairly large city with a lot going on. However, not all the city is scripted, as the encounter and beginning quests pretty much eventually lead to becoming a caravan guard. One thing to note, there is plenty still to do in Luskan before venturing out, and you can help equip your hero on the journey. I highly recommend doing this. I honestly feel Accursed Tower has a lot going for it. The author of this module spent a lot of time importing in Salvatore's work, and this really shows. There's also an abundance of cool history books to collect along the way that can be some great filler for reading material. I don't usually count that as part of the playtime, but one could definitely spend some time just checking those out as well. Another thing that surprised me is that it keeps expanding more and more as the adventure continues. What I mean is that just when you think it might be coming to an end or wrapping up, instead it reinvests into what's going on with the ongoing storyline, and you just get sucked in that much more deeper. I found a lot of the encounters can be difficult, as well as the enemy AI is placed well and thought out for the encounter with what equipment has been given and the level range that you're at. In this particular playthrough, I went with the Golden Oldie, one of my rangers, the fabulous Princess Leia. Unfortunately, I don't think it was the best choice for this particular module, and I'll explain because here come some of the cons that are pretty serious about playing this module in general. Even though it was worked on extensively several years ago, there are still numerous amounts of bugs with encounters. I can't tell you how many times I had to reload because of this. Also, the triggers to start events don't always work. Not to mention that some of the branching dialogue really doesn't match up or even matter, as whatever you say or however you say it, the script goes off on its own tangent. I wish this was the end of the cons, but there are more. Controlling a large party on Neverwinter Nights engine just isn't fun. We all know that, and you can expect that. But what makes this more frustrating is that the tile sets developed for this playthrough with the corridors and areas are extremely tight, and a lot of the encounters are based off opening doors and then engaging. The constant micromanagement begins to take a toll, as party members will blast off in the wrong direction, opening doors to other areas and engaging other creatures more than once. In some sections, I would just outright have party members removed to pick up later just to make that encounter just that much easier. The Accursed Tower, unfortunately, is marred. A beautiful, well-crafted adventure that might have followed the original D&D campaign a little too tightly on the room design. By not allowing the PC to properly manage roster engagements, it constantly made the fights a lot harder than they needed to be. In the end, the best solution I had was to convert my long-range ranger into a battle-hardened frontline warrior. But this doesn't really explain all that's going on, and I'll explain here in just a second. I still want to emphasize that I was having fun. The setup, the plot, and what was going on made me want to continue even with all these hiccups in playing the module itself. Allowing the PC to level up party members in the direction of choice was also a very strong point in the favor of playing this mod. You see, I think it's important to note when someone gets into playing this module that they be prepared for proper planning, as party members dying isn't going to end well for the adventure, even if you can pick up numerous other NPCs along the way. I hate it, but I became a slave to the save scum by the end, reloading encounters until my front line matched with what I needed when spawning into an encounter so that I could at least manage the fight properly. Without it, I was met with constant failure or death of someone in my control. When looking back, I think I would strongly recommend a cleric as your main, because the constant need to spot heal party members does exist. The cleric tag along isn't scripted to heal companions, and more times than not, just rushing over with a heal kit would just not be fast enough. So there you go. My feelings of this module are mixed. While it has many elements that that I enjoy in module playthroughs like following classic pen and paper conversions. Its lack of care and development of dialogue mattering and bugs just hamper down the experience way too far. In the end, Accursed Tower rushes in as a 6 to 10 star module, with one extra point given because it expands upon the settings of 10 Towns and Icewind Dale, one of my favorite locations that is underutilized in module campaigns. If someone's big into Icewind Dale, then I'd go ahead and suggest that this is a must play. Just be prepared for what you're walking into and what to expect. Broken fights, poor branching dialogue, and scripting bugs. As always, with these reviews, I try to get the spoilers to a minimum, and I hope you enjoy it. Remember to hit that like button for future content, but that's going to be a wrap for this one. I'm signing out. Have a great day gaming. Later.